Whatever. Without further delay,
we proudly present...
Hey, hold on, stop the show. Just give me 1 second, hold on, stop the show. Oh my gosh, Mrs. Barnett, so glad to see you here. You're enjoying this night of theater. Oh my gosh, wait for me, hold on.
What the heck is wrong with you?
Sorry, I got held up at the beach.
You went to the beach in a suit.
Oh, it's my bathing suit.
what are those?
Just a few last minute changes, that's all.
That's way more than a few.
We can't memorize all that in 3 minutes.
Oh, I'm sure you can.
I'm with Emma.
No, you're not. Connor, what did you get on your artifice essay?
A 9, but why is that?
Oh, well, did you plan it? Mrs. Barnett, could you please cover your ears for us, please? Cover your ears, thank you.
No.
Okay, Barnett, you can uncover your ears. Barnett? Okay. Yeah, and this isn't planned either, and Emma.
I planned my essays, thank you very much.
Okay, fine, just pretend this is due in 15 minutes then?
Let's do this.
All right, and Connor.
Sure, whatever.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, for a few last minute changes, I am very pleased and proud to present Rope, The Life and Times of Mary Webster, or Tavern Trap.
Some folks think of lit and lang as a new form of hell, but let us tell you these classes are really rather swell. We're educated people, but we like to have our fun.
We're here tonight to share with you our teacher number 1.
Barnett is awe-inspiring, let us tell you why.
When she gives you back the 2, it'll make you cry.
Novel, essay, play, or book, she'll make you take a second look. And Barnett, don't you try to walk, all the doors are locked.
Have you heard about the time that Barnett had to leave the classroom in the middle of class? It seems she really had to take AP.
Emma, Barnett may be awe-inspiring, but let's draw the line. Cut the cheap shots.
Why the comment?
When we can earn a 9.
Everybody's here, so let's tell them who we are.
My name's Emma, also Van. I'm the smartest here by far.
Hi, I'm Ian. I wrote the show, and I'm Barnett's favorite here.
This whole show was his fault, Miss B. Please write him up and don't hurt me.
Hi, I'm Connor Morgan, also known as Always Right.
He's really not that grand.
Must admit I'm a delight.
So Emma is the youngest.
She's a novice.
And brand new.
And that's the woman in question, Mrs. Barnett. That's who. Barnett is awe-inspiring, that's what people say. We're here to prove her class is fun, an English holiday. We're still in her classes, so we hope she takes this well. But we've made it through this number, so let's raise a bit more hell.
Let's bring it on home, guys.
Barnett is awe-inspiring, that's the reason we are out here on the stage tonight, hoping you'll agree. Barnett is on and we hope, and all we know is we just can't kick it. Though some folks may kick it, we just can't kick these classes. So on with the show.
By now, this is not in fact Rope, The Life and Times of Mary Webster, but is a little show we wrote
Hold
up.
on. Me?
Well, if I'm going down, you're sinking too. It's a little show we wrote up called Tavern Trap.
Now, some of you may be wondering why we chose a name so meaningless as Tavern Trap for a show about Mrs. Jack.
Ah!
What?
You don't want to get written up twice.
Right, a show about Mrs. Insert first name, Barnett.
We decided if we called the show Barnett the Musical, we'd get found out.
So we tried a few other names first, like A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Language.
The Phantom of the English Wing.
And Dear Evan Barnett, before we settled upon a title we all love.
A title which evoked the grandeur of Broadway while perfectly describing every student in Barnett's classes and capturing the spirit of AP Lit and Lang.
Les Miserables! Unfortunately, my first attempt at use of this title landed me a huge lawsuit from Babille and Schoenberg for copyright infringement, and we were back to square one.
It was then that I came up with this genius idea to disguise her name. It was simple, really. I began by breaking her name into two parts, bar and net.
Then we started thinking of synonyms for these two words. Our first rendition, pub snare.
This unfortunately sounded like a slur for Cockney drunkards.
So I got more sophisticated. Deadlock duplicity.
And this unfortunately was the working title for my romance fan fiction between Sherlock Holmes and John Watson.
So after hearing that, I did the natural thing and went to bed. And in my dream, I was visited by three spirits, the ghosts of my plays, past, present, and future. And the spirit of plays yet to come led me to a wall. And on that wall, there was a letter for my expulsion. And the reason for my expulsion was that I had written a most offensive play entitled Tavern Trap. I woke up and wrote it down. It was the perfect name for this.
Wait a minute, you got expelled for this.
Yes, but it was only a dream.
Yeah, but if it's real...
I still have a year left with her.
Okay, we'll ask her. Barnett, are you going to expel us for doing this? No. Yes. Okay, so we hope to show you the entirety of AP Lit and Lang and give you a sense of the glory of these amazing classes.
And in the spirit of AP, it will be timed.
We have 50 minutes. Go!
Okay, so we begin with AP Lang. This is the first class that you'll take, and it is by far the easiest.
It's still incredibly difficult.
That's cute.
Oh, that's very cute. Yes, so this class focuses on argument, rhetoric, and nonfiction analysis.
But seeing as the Oxford English Dictionary defines the term badass as Mrs. Barnett's lesson plans, we get a little bit of fiction too.
Perhaps the greatest American novelist studied, and so we proudly present a hyper-condensed version of F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby.
Daisy, I made all of this money for you because I love you.
I cannot reciprocate because I represent the American dream.
Well, now I must die because I also represent the American dream.
I hate New Yorkers.
So maybe that was a little short for those of you who haven't read the book.
Losers.
Be nice. So here is the condensed Great Gatsby.
Wait, please, wait, good luck.
Oh boy. In my younger and more vulnerable years, my father gave me some advice that I've been turning over in my mind ever since. Whenever you feel like criticizing anyone, he told me, just remember that all the people in this world haven't had the advantages that you've had. Ian, are you listening?
Okay, she has plenty of advantages over us. Like the ability to take away multiple choice Monday.
Right.
Continue.
He didn't say any more, but we've always been unusually communicative in a reserved way. I'm gonna have to bridge this. Hi, my name's Nick Carraway, and anyways, I bought this house in West Egg. Well, I didn't buy it, a friend did, but he was called to work, so it's just me. But that's all details. The important thing is this. I went over to my old friend Tom's house, and he was having dinner with his wife Daisy and Miss Jordan Baker. Miss Jordan Baker?
I'm not wearing the dress.
I'll play both.
Okay. Nick Carraway!
Tom Buchanan, you haven't changed a bit, have you?
Why, thank you.
Sure.
What do you think of my new house? I bought it from an oil baron, all the finest silver and china and decor.
Looks expensive.
It was. But when you've got the money,
Daisy.
Nick, have you been?
I recognized my cousin Daisy, but had no clue to the other, taller woman.
Absolutely.
Absolutely what?
Absolutely. That's all it says in the script.
Ah, must be a bridging.
bridging, my company doesn't build bridges.
What are you talking about?
Time limit.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. So how about dinner, my friends?
Bing! Bing!
Oh, that must be the phone. My apologies. I'll go get that.
Who's that?
His woman.
But you're here.
His mistress. You'd think he'd have the decency not to call her at dinner.
You
think you'd have the decency not to have one. Well, that's not very nice, Jordan. This is my husband we're talking about after all. It's too bad you can't just divorce him. Well, now, divorce was never on the table. The only reason you're still with that group is because he made you black and blue if you left. Now, that's not very nice. Oh, there you
Hey,
go.
what's on your hand?
Just a little bruise.
Who did this?
This hulking man.
Oh, my
here.
arm, Emma. I mean, I hate that word, hulking.
Well then, I'm going home to West Egg.
West Egg, you must go Gatsby.
Who's he?
A really great guy.
Later that night, I went home and found Gatsby on his beach. He was in interesting mood. The next morning, I went into town with Tom to see his mistress.
Are you ready to meet my mistress, Myrtle Wilson? She's quite a woman.
You just called me Myrtle Wilson.
No, my mistress.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes, here she.
Who do I know?
Myrtle Wilson. Yes. Well, this is my mistress,
I'm
Myrtle
a
Wilson.
horsewoman.
This is my mistress, Myrtle Wilson. I bought you a puppy, my love.
A puppy? Well, let's get some champagne made. Sorry,
No,
champagne.
you're right the first time. Yes. So how about we head into
Oh,
town?
we just got here.
Well, if we ain't kissing, then I ain't listening.
Boo!
Hey, that was in character. Ah. It's a lovely day to be headed into town. Don't you love when the roads are labeled?
absolutely.
Of course. So much easier.
It's
Very convenient.
so convenient, especially since we don't have those newfangled iPhones.
You don't think that's important for a horsewoman like myself, Myrtle
That
Wilson,
will
is
never
it?
be important. Things like that are never important in these types of books. They just fill pages.
Sure, I do.
Thank you. That's why I got my house from an oil baron. Oh, look. They're so hospitable.
We made it.
We got welcomed.
Boy, Tommy, my whistle's drier than a Baptist church.
Well, we're in one. But there should be some liquor hidden in the cabinet.
I have an idea.
What?
Let's play a drinking game.
What do you have in mind?
It's my new favorite. It's called Cops Are Coming. You turn on the radio, and every time they mention the cops, you take a drink so they don't find your stash.
Sounds fun.
Interesting.
Welcome back to NPR series on the public opinion on law enforcement. 30 minutes later.
You know, Tommy, I don't understand why you hang around with that baggy old broad of yours.
Yes, my wife who you're talking about.
Some wife, you need to have a mistress just to get by.
Some mistress, you should make my life
Well, I
harder.
would tend to do that for you.
The two continued this rift for quite a while, and then one thing led to another.
Well, why can't I say it? Daisy, 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 Daisy,
So
Daisy!
He was a real hit with the ladies. Later that night, I went home with one of Myrtle's friends and had a completely heterosexual experience. It was straight to the line. That's right, no gay Gatsby here. Just Nick Carraway, not getting carried away, who with another man will never lay.
Connor, they get it.
Oh, okay, I was just making sure.
Okay,
All
move
right.
on.
The next morning, I received an unusual piece of mail.
The honor would be entirely mine if you attend my little party tonight.
It was such a formal invitation, I decided to go, but this was by no means a little party. It was one of the most extravagant affairs I'd ever seen. You're supposed to be expensive, guys.
We know!
Yeah, we wrote to the district for funding, but they wouldn't give us any.
Why not?
There was a holdup with them reading the script.
Deja vu.
Anyway, we did find some real jazz music.
No, we didn't!
Dang it.
I was surprised to find Mr. Gatsby nowhere near the dance floor. At a lull in the entertainment, a man looked to me and smiled.
Were you in the 3rd Division during the war?
Why, yes, I was in the 9th Machine Gun Battalion.
Well, I was 2nd Infantry until June 1918. I knew I'd seen you somewhere before.
We talked to France for a while, and then he told me that he bought a hydroplane.
You want to go with me sometime on sport just near the shore along the Sound?
Anytime that suits you best.
Having a gay time now?
I did not sleep with that man.
Oh, he was happy.
Yes, but this is the most unusual party. I live next door and received an invitation and have got to meet the host.
Oh, well, I'm Gatsby.
Great.
So they call me.
What's that?
Don't worry about it. Nothing happened. I wasn't even trying.
What happened?
The wheels off.
Have you tried putting it in reverse?
The wheels off.
I should go check on her. I mean, him.
There's no harm in trying. The next day, Jay and I...
Gatsby,
Gatsby and I went into town to have lunch with a business associate of his, Mr. Wolfshine.
Who, due to recent dicta of the LOMOT, will not be appearing in this show.
What?
Yeah, they said he was an outdated, unnecessary, and untimely stereotype that should no longer be mentioned in any future mention of Scott Fitzgerald's novel.
Who said this?
The LOMOT.
L-O-M-O-T.
The League of Offended Mothers on Twitter.
They're a powerful Bobby.
They're incredibly powerful.
Very well. We lunched with Mr. Wolfshine, who was an upstanding and moral representative of the Jewish community, an intelligent, respectful, legitimate business owner, who had an appearance no less beautiful or valid than that of any other character in the novel. And after our lunch, which hinted at no dealings such as organized crime, bootlegging, or money hoarding, which in darker times were commonly opposed upon the Jewish people, despite having absolutely no ties to such organizations at any point in history. Really, Bryn, do you want to get cut? My son can kick your son.
No. I just printed out the whole post. I didn't proofread. Sorry.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyways, I was later revealed a bit of tea from Jordan Baker. So you want to know about the flower and the bluebird? Well, here's what you need to know. It all began when he was a soldier. He came across a little girl. Wait, wrong words. He's not a priest. What? Too soon? He came across a young woman who caught his eye. They decided to sing like the angels while making the devil. Ever since then, James Gatz has been chasing little Daisy and trying to get her back. Wait, James Gatz? Who's he? Oh, Gatz must be Gatsby. Gatsby. Wow, I can't believe it took me that long to figure that out. I mean, at least I got it before I graduated. Anyways, after learning that bit of information, I decided to do my due diligence. And according to the all-knowing book entitled The Bro Code, which states, if a bro cannot himself meet with a woman for any reason, a bro shall arise and assist the bro in any way that he can. Thus saith the bro. I had the two over for tea.
Okay, so the tea is steeping and the table is set. Am I forgetting anything? I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Just relax. It'll be fine.
I know, but it's just been so long. And what if she's not the same? I mean, it's been so long. It's been years.
Ding dong!
Oh my gosh, she's here.
Gatsby, maintain. Daisy!
Yes.
So glad you could join me this
Oh,
afternoon.
I love your house. It's so cozy.
Thank you.
Hi.
Jay! I didn't know you'd be here.
Nick, a word. Nick, I need a
One
word.
moment, please. What is your problem?
She's not the same. I remember back in Tennessee when we were together, she would just kiss me, and then sometimes she would do a little bit more than kissing.
Okay, we get the point. Gatsby, you can't just repeat the past.
Can repeat the past? Why, of course you can.
Symbolism! Look, if you want to impress her so much, just take her back to her place and show her what you've got.
What a great idea.
What a terrible idea.
Jay, I've never seen such beautiful shits in my life.
Such beautiful what?
Shit, such beautiful shits.
That's not the line.
Yes, it is.
Oh my gosh, that's a typo.
Hi, women!
Oh, yes, sorry.
The next afternoon, we decided that it was a hot day and we should head into the city. Gatsby took his yellow car and drove us to a nearby hotel. Along the way, we got some iced drinks and, well, drinks to drink.
Don't you love these meandering country roads? Oh, look at that.
That'll never come up again.
It never does, ever in these novels.
See, they need those wrinkles.
Oh, really? Well, that's the point of
That
it.
must be a sign for you then.
Yes.
Ah,
You see, the only problem with these Rolls Royces, as nice and as open as they are, is they really do have cruddy brakes. Oh, sorry about that. Oh.
When we arrived,
So, Jay, what do you think of my wife? Well, I think that she has something to tell you. What? What are you talking about? Daisy, why don't you tell him?
Well,
What?
Jay, I'm not so sure it's a great idea. Talking to Daisy, what is he talking about?
What?
Well,
What do you mean?
um,
Well, your wife, she's in love with me.
Well-
What? You son of a...
you guys, are any of you understanding this?
Okay, fine. We're moving on then.
Now here comes the juicy part.
Juicy.
You wrote the script.
That's a fair point.
The gang decided to return home after the trauma of the evening at the hotel. Daisy drove. She wanted to clear her head. And the road. From the garage of George Wilson, we hear Myrtle raising a commotion.
How the heck am I supposed to do this?
Just like you have when you play both parts.
2 different people in 2 separate locations?
Yes. Oh, Connor, grab Sarah.
Wait, what?
Okay, look,
Sarah,
No, I'll give you the no.
just read the card. He trusts you.
come on, I trust you, Sarah. Come on.
Why don't you be a real man?
Well, no, she's not sexy. That's the wrong intent.
Okay, sorry.
Hey.
Okay, I understand. Why don't you be a real man? Beat me!
Oh,
Dear me, I think I hit something.
here, pull back a little bit. We'll see.
There's definitely something there.
Well, pull forward a little bit just to be sure.
What could it be?
I don't know. Let's check.
The next day, Jordan Wilson, husband of recently late Myrtle Wilson, followed the trail to the yellow car that struck his wife. He found Gatsby in school, pulled up his gun, and did a little hunting for old sport. I was the only one at Gatsby's funeral. Tom and Daisy lived on, married. Jordan kept being a cheating floozy. Cheating in sport, I hope. And I moved away from West Egg.
And so we beat on, boats against the current, borne back ceaselessly into the past.
Well, that was the Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Yeah, I don't think they understood any of that.
Solid 2, Ian.
Old or new rubric?
Old.
Ouch, that hurts.
Becca, how are we doing on time?
You're 25 minutes behind schedule.
Oh, dang it.
Oh, I figured it's the script.
But they need to learn these books.
Well, how are we gonna do all of them?
Ooh, why don't we just talk super fast? Like, we had a of a conversation, maybe something that was like slightly racist, but it wasn't really racist, but you're like, hey, I didn't mean it that way, and you're like, hey, I'm gonna do any ideas, but Emma doesn't have any ideas. You're sitting there and you're like, hey, Connor, do you have any ideas? You're just gonna keep talking until you know what? I'm gonna give up.
Thank goodness.
I'm surprised you lasted that long.
You guys suck.
I have an idea.
What?
Let's do a speed round.
Speed round.
Yeah, we'll do a brief overview, talk a little bit about the books, go over some key points, maybe compare and contrast.
Well, that's a great idea. Where do we start?
Start with letter.
And
Oh, Frankenstein.
Frankenstein.
Yes, Victor or Dimmesdale, who's worse?
I'll be Dimmesdale.
And I'll be the Victor.
If I can help it.
Why did I sign up for this?
Simple.
We didn't give you a choice.
Just go get ready.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a moment we are about to present to you a one-of-a-kind debate between 2 of literature's most hated men. Before we begin, I'd like to give you a little overview into these 2 men's noble pasts. Our first contestant is Arthur Dimmesdale, a Puritan priest from Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Scarlet Letter, a book with a guaranteed A. Don't laugh at that. No. This book follows the story of Hester Prynne, a beautiful girl who decides to do church with a blatant disregard for good old number 6. Our lad Dimmesdale decides not to spare with the rod, and 9 months later her oyster pops out of pearl. Well, now Hester is sentenced to forever wear an embroidered A on her shirt to symbolize her adultery, and Dimmesdale continues preaching as if he did absolutely nothing wrong. Our second contestant is Victor Frankenstein, the title character of Mary Shelley's romantic horror masterpiece, Frankenstein, which follows the events after Victor decides to and successfully reanimates a corpse. Now, the creature is actually quite educated, and Victor just happens to be
Uniquely distinguished, incredibly intelligent, and dashingly handsome scientist. Thank you very much.
Scientist, why don't you be honest, Victor, and tell them what you truly are? A sinner.
How typical, a member of the clergy turning a blind eye to the facts. Oh, and how's that mistress, Mr. Perfect Conscious, still prim and proper?
How's your wife?
Hey, gentlemen! Males. The rules of this debate are simple. Each of you will have a chance to present your cases, then we will allow for cross-examination and closing statements before deciding on a winner. Any questions?
I have one.
Yes.
Are there any Catholics in the audience? If so, would they leave?
Just for that, Victor is first.
Why, thank you, madam. To begin, I had no intention nor idea of what the creature would do or what it would become. I thought it would be beautiful. You see, it was so big and muscular with long black hair, blue eyes, rippling muscles and powerful
Victor?
loins. Oh, yes, right, sorry. Sir, I saw his body all laying down on the cold table and it was beautiful. So I gave him life. He became ugly. You know, it's like a baby who looks so cute in the sonograms but just pops out looking like his Lincoln won't start and the fire is still too cold. Yes, he looked as if Coach Bales went as Homer Simpson for Halloween. And he reached out to me with this great big moan, and honestly, if you had a large moaning man reaching for you, he would run too. Yeah. And yes, maybe he did some things. And yes, perhaps some people took the fall for him, but wasn't that my responsibility? You see, all I did was make him proportional. So if an 8-foot-tall man makes a few ballsy moves, that's still his doing.
Good show.
Mr. Dimsdale, wait your turn. Thank you, Mr. Frankenstein. Mr. Dimsdale, you may speak.
Thank you. What my dear Becky boy neglected to tell you was that he never took responsibility for his creature to anyone in the public eye. He continued on with his life as if nothing changed after committing his crime, like he was innocent. He never told anyone that he was responsible for the thing he so heinously did until it didn't matter, until his image couldn't be destroyed, until the public eye would turn against him. What kind of man does that?
You!
The point being, I wore my own scarlet letter in my own way. I felt it burn upon my chest. I wore it plain on my beating heart. Vicky,
Don't call me that, ding dong.
Okay, now.
Mr. Frankenstein felt no guilt for his action. He only pitied himself.
How could I feel guilt for what the creature did of his own volition? The better question is, how could a man call his god when it rhymes such awful names?
Well, in the right moment.
Emma!
Sorry! Continue!
At least my child was pretty.
At least mine cared for me.
You married your cousin.
You didn't even get married!
Gentlemen! Men! Males. After hearing your cases, I have decided that in the competition of who is the better man, Dimsdale is the victor.
No, I am Victor.
No, Connor is.
Well, he may be a Victor, but I am the Victor, unless I have victory, see?
You're on crack.
See, he's a druggie too.
Time limit!
Oh, yes, sorry, time limit. Okay, guys, so what's next?
We could touch on some purely rhetoric pieces.
Yeah, Lady Dillard.
We didn't read her.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, but it's an important part of the class. We have to touch the road.
Okay, that's +5, but I would not touch the road with a gosh darn hazmat suit on.
Ian, could you go get my water from my car for me?
Yeah, sure thing, babe. That was great. Wait a minute, you're just trying to get me out of the theater so that you guys can do Thoreau.
Yes.
That's the plan.
Okay, no, if anyone in this cast is doing Thoreau, I'll be the one doing Thoreau.
+5, and I'm not so sure that's a great idea.
Why not?
Yeah, we actually want people to learn about Thoreau.
Okay, has the audience learned anything from the show?
He makes a good point.
I know. Now shoot. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am sorry that I have to present to you the biggest asshole who ever picked up a pen.
Even you.
The third biggest asshole to ever pick up a pen.
Third?
You've written yourself.
Yeah, but so is Emma.
Perhaps I agree, but you know, happy wife.
Attaboy.
Gross.
The third biggest asshole to ever pick up a pen, Henry David Thoreau Blackett. Lights up. The great mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation. Well, I say live the life you have imagined. Although I am so smart, and you are so dumb. Oh, you have a job? You're a fool. Oh, you have a house? God, what are you compensating for? Do you always feel inadequate, subpar, always coming up short? Well, do what I did and build a cabin in the woods and never shut up about it. I mean, if you want to be a man of truth and passion and intellect, you must fill 234 pages. Minimum. With the same dribble, again. Oh, wait. And again. And again. And look at this, surprise, surprise, again. Yes, because most people just simply cannot understand my genius. Yes, I lived in a cabin for one, because I find it wholesome to be alone the greater part of the time. Yes, I chose to be alone. I did. I had women just lining up to be with me, and I mean, okay, not with a figure in mind like mine. Yes, I spent my time alone because I find women not to be creatures of truth. Y'all brought your wives. What a genius joke, Henry. Yes, jokes. I make them quite infrequently because I find them to be a waste of time, and as if you could kill time without injuring eternity. Another one of my genius quotes. Yes, they just come to me. You see, I, Henry David Thoreau, created a literary movement known as Transcendentalism.
Ooh!
Yes, Transcendentalism, which is all about transcending the natural and pursuing a higher state of man. You see, I opened my great mind to the world and recorded everything that came to me, and I got great glimpses into this vast and most inconceivable affair that is the universe. Quotes like, "It's not what you look at that matters, it's what you see." You see, for instance, this man and I look at the same woman, and whereas I see a basic homely figure, he sees a lover. And I look at the same man as this woman, and I see a man who wants more, and she sees her only chance.
Absolute ass.
Now you're getting Thoreau. Okay. So you see, many people strive for more, and they go through life wholly unsatisfied, but not me. I have found a remedy. I am grateful for what I am and what I have. My Thanksgiving is perpetual. You see, I am thankful for everything in my life, from beautiful to hideous, from Rolls Royce to Chevrolet Chevette, from good food to Denny's, from Abraham Lincoln to Don. No, you guys thought that I was going to get political for a second, didn't you? Yeah, no, I deal in truth. And moreover, my friends, I pursue nothing more than to spread my infinite knowledge with all those who will pursue it. I do not seek fame, my friends. Y'all are my friends. I say, rather than love, rather than money, rather than fame, give me truth. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to present to you the Henry David Thoreau not seeking fame or attention dancers. Oh, I'm a genius, step it, time, yes, I'm a genius, step it, never need a reason.
They canceled.
What?
They canceled.
Yeah, they all bailed last minute.
But Sharice and I had a contract. She was going to come on and
Sorry, I guess he's Thoreau now.
Oh, but guys, seriously, there's a lot more to Thoreau.
Hey, Becca!
Yeah?
Have you heard anything from my Russian friend?
Your Russian friend?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Time check!
Oh my gosh, that's a good one.
Oh, you wrote it!
I know, but it's still pretty good.
Right.
That was it. Time out, both of you.
What?
Time out. Becca, how much longer until intermission?
You have about 15 minutes.
Oh, crap. Ian, what's left to cover?
I don't know. I'm still in timeout.
Connor.
No, don't do it. It's a trap. It's a tavern trap.
Right.
You're both out of timeout.
It was a real meanie, huh?
Yeah, I hate her.
Excuse me?
Nothing but lunch.
That's what I thought. So what's next?
I mean, we did Scarlet Letter, Frankenstein, Thoreau, Gatsby, What's Left in Lang.
Frederick Douglass.
No, I don't think that we
We
did
did
that.
there as we're watching God.
No.
The only other thing we did was the letter from Birmingham.
Yeah, no. Is there anything lighter? Oh my god, I do not mean it like that, guys. I meant like happier.
You just go a little late and do the boys with the Bible.
I don't think so.
Wait, no, there is the one scene.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
With Nathan.
Your brother Fowles, the song. The song?
Find the song. Introduce it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am very excited to introduce to you my favorite book that we read, Barbara Kingsolver's 1994 novel, The Poisonwood Bible, which follows Nathan Price, an independent, temperamental, right-wing, radical, chicken-eating Baptist from rural Georgia, as he takes his entire family to the Belgian Congo to become missionaries. Now, because we are a cast from specific backgrounds, we will present to you one of the only scenes that we can, the Badass Bible Battle, wherein Nathan Price meets with Brother Fowles, who is a veteran missionary in the Congo, and they get into a scripture off. So ladies and gentlemen, I am very proud to now present to you Nathan Went to the Congo.
Nathan went to the Congo and he was looking for a soul to save. His wife was near and filled with fear, and Ruth made his feeling grave. When he came across a riverboat with a papist preaching it hot, so Nathan jumped up on a poisonwood stump and said,
Let me tell you what. I bet you didn't know it, but I'm a Bible preacher too. And if you care to stand right there, I'll discuss a verse or two. Now you know your way around these parts with Nathan Francis do. I'll let Rachel's soul and Ruth May's soul to say I'm better than you.
the man said,
My name's Brother Fowles, and it might be a sin, but I'll take your bet. You're gonna regret some of the best there's ever been.
Then brother, open up your book and preach the gospel well. 'Cause Nathan's in the Rwanda and he don't take losing well. Hey, now if you win, you get to save my daughter's mortal soul. But if you lose, then Nathan runs the show.
Let me tell you a little bit about the Bible, Brother Fowles, because I fear that you have not read it.
now Nathan opened up his book and said,
I'll start the show. I believe God said just what he means, and his word never gets old. And I believe your nature prophecies are more worthless than my spit. And furthermore, dear Brother Fowles, your whole faith is a load of shit. Yeah. See, you may look at the Bible and see that all it Jesus character and attitude, but guess what? I read the whole Bible, including the Apocrypha. Yeah. And you know what? Old Testament, there's this book called Proverbs, and Proverbs says, he that spareth the rod taketh his son. Well, I can match those every day because I love it. I love it very much. You made me cry sometimes.
when Nathan finished, Fowles said,
You're pretty good, old son. But sit back for the next hair right here. Let me show you how it's done. The tree and the roots and the branches are one. Rejoice in the Lord my son. Sing the rain against the Lord. We're all one body in Christ, I know. It's kind of the same, Brother Christ, but you have to understand, God's word goes forward just inside this book. See, God's word is all around us. We've got the trees, people. We want to show them the way of Christianity. Just as some nice love verse.
now Nathan stomped out of the room because he knew that he'd been beat. And Fowles got up off of the chair and stood upon his feet. And Fowles said,
Nathan, come on back if you ever want to try again. But I told you once, you back this prick, I'm the best there's ever been. The tree and the roots and the branches are one. Rejoice in the word of the Lord, my son. Sing to the rain and the yams below. We're all one body in Christ, I know.
The only other thing that we didn't lit was all the light we cannot see.
Oh, we can knock this out in like 2 seconds. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Emma, you're French.
And blind.
Yes, blind. Sigail!
who are you my papa?
No, fragile blind girl. I am a Nazi obsessed with radios who is repenting for his cruel ways and symbolizing that all humans are good at heart and that we are not responsible for our choices.
Can you leave me to safety?
I love you.
I mean, guys are not wrong. That's the whole book.
So then what's left?
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Not so fast. There's still one book that we haven't touched upon yet. Jane Eyre.
No, that's for our next paper. We're not even going to get
I'm
close
too
to
young
that.
to die.
Yeah, all in favor of skipping Jane Eyre.
That's true to one to keep living.
Okay, but there's still more people in this cast.
3 against 1.
Okay, but there's still Sarah.
Make that a 4.
Oh, dang it.
Besides, in all actuality, this is just a cleverly written bit of forced argument to cover up the fact that at the time of the script's writing, the playwright had not yet finished Jane Eyre, and since he didn't want to go on Wikipedia and spoil it for himself, he just used this to cover up his lack of knowledge in a humorous way.
Did you just break the fourth wall in third person?
Was there even a fourth wall to begin with?
Yeah, this playwright is an absolute genius.
No, stop that.
Okay.
Okay, so I really think there's only one thing left to discuss before intermission.
Multiple choice?
No.
It's never multiple choice.
Time rights.
Hey, no.
Which kind?
Q3.
Oh, I hate those.
That's why I chose it.
Suck.
Introduce them, Miss Six.
Ladies and gentlemen, our finale Act 1 will be a demonstration of the apotheosis of Barnett's instruction, the timed right. Now, timed rights are a pretty straightforward concept. You're given a prompt and then you must write a specific essay in a specific allotment of time. For AP Lang, you have 55 minutes for a synthesis essay in which you analyze a variety of sources and string them together for your own argument. Then 45 minutes for an analysis essay where you analyze a passage and explain why it works and what it does. And then finally, you have Q3, an argument where you're given a very broad, vague point to take a position on, and you must draw from nothing but your own knowledge to form and defend your stance on the issue.
In AP Literature, in Q1, you analyze a poem. In Q2, you analyze a piece of prose. And lastly, you present a literary argument in Q3, where you must use your knowledge of one literary work to explain why it fits a certain qualification and or defends a point.
Oh, today we will be looking at AP Lang's Q3 and write an argument.
For the sake of simplicity.
For the sake of straightforwardness.
Simplicity.
Yeah. So the topic for today's essay is select a concept, role, place, etc. to which you believe that the term overrated should be applied. Then write a well-developed essay in which you explain your judgment. Use appropriate evidence from your reading experience or observations to support your argument, and this show does not count. All right, gentlemen and ladies, take your pens, take your paper, take your desks, Godspeed, and begin.
40 minutes later.
My eyes are rolling open to my awful situation. I've been working 40 minutes and still haven't solved the question. I should write that overrated is by simply one's opinion, but then I would do the opposite of taking a position. Doing what I want to write an essay worth over a billion, but I haven't done enough so that in question no I'm being and a word or two of compliment my vanity or pleasure, but I haven't done enough so that it doesn't matter.
Well, it really doesn't matter. So it really doesn't matter.
So it really doesn't matter.
So it really doesn't matter.
So it really doesn't matter. If I were not an essayist respected and discerned, I would really love my time and earn the greater right to bring up the teacher power by the great distinction and distinguish to really be impressed by my intelligence in English. But the deadline is approaching, I'm not too good at paper, and my reputation holds that these two I should be greater. But present I'm afraid this paper's nothing more than chatter, so I'll sing this song from Rodagore, it really doesn't matter.
What we sing just 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 doesn't matter.
No, it really doesn't matter. What we sing just doesn't matter. If I could be so lucky as to write a 5 or better, then I would need to learn it in the form of praise better. I could simply keep on writing words my sentences connecting, then the essay would be perfect and in no need of correcting. My experience in situations like the one you're seeing have been stressful at the best, and at the worst, they've left me screaming. A poorly written, rapid, unintelligible pattern is illegible at worst, and at the best, it doesn't matter.
If it is, it doesn't matter.
If it is, it doesn't matter. All this quickly written, rapid, unintelligible pattern is illegible at worst, and at the best, it doesn't matter. All this quickly written, rapid, unintelligible pattern is illegible at worst, and at the best, it doesn't matter.
examine this class as two parts. The first part, the books, is only a minor portion of the experience. The second, much larger portion of the class is the woman who teaches, Mrs.
Insert first name, Barnett.
Let us begin. In the beginning, there was nothing. Then the Lord said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Over the next week or so, the Lord refined this world. He made all of the plants, animals, and everything that does not live and everything that does. Many thousands of years passed, and wars were fought. Nations were founded. Jesus was crucified. He rose again.
How's that, guys?
Rome expanded, and the Anglo-Saxons spread into a small island off of the coast of Europe, and one day the French conquered. Through a mutual inability to share their language, they rather merged the two contrasting tongues, and thus, through a long and painful process during which there was much violence and regretting, English was born.
It's a boy.
Oh, a lovely little lamb, the lamb brethren, Emma, who's not gonna brush his teeth, you go.
Why do I put myself through this? Anyways, years passed, and this new language gave birth to great writers. William Shakespeare, Charlotte Bronte, Nathaniel Hawthorne, well, he's not really great, but Ernest Hemingway, F. Scott Fitzgerald, and Zora Neale Hurston. This language was beautiful. Its works were the lyrics to the great song that is life. But the Lord looked down and decided that it was too much for any normal human to master, so he decided to send down a conqueror, one who would unite styles and authors and impart into the common man a new understanding, and one who would describe complex concepts in simple terms and forever end the confusion surrounding the enigmatic nature of this language. Unfortunately, the John Green design team was behind schedule. So one heavenly creator volunteered to fulfill the need in his stead. And thus, one calm night, Barnett was given unto the world.
Hallelujah.
Not much is known of those early years. We infer that she communicated fairly frequently with the Heavenly Lord, as is evidenced by her having Christian beliefs, but the nature of her learning is vague by our records. Because of this, many historians believe in a competing theory, which holds that Barnett was not in fact given to the world in mid-century America, but rather began her duties long before that. This theory is thus. Many mild millennia ago, on the banks of the river Styx, there was a young man who begged for passage, but he was a fool, they said, to try and cross so mighty a river for so small a prize. But the boy pressed on. I love her. I don't care about anything, only her. Well, the guards of the Styx respected him for his bravery. Never before had they seen someone so willing to die for a girl so ugly. I mean, she was no Helen of Troy, she was more a female Hephaestus. But the boy pressed on for her. So the guards agreed him passage on the Styx, on the condition that he could answer 3 questions. Why he loved her.
She speaks with me as if there is nothing to hide, and her hazel eyes shine like emeralds in fire.
What his passage entailed.
I will present myself with coin in my mouth to Phlegyas, who will then ferry us across the river Styx, where I will find my love Helgistus, and then we will present ourselves again to Phlegyas with coins in each of our palms, and we will be ferried back across the river, and then travel north to our home island of Homos, north of Eros, on the south coast of Lesbos.
And finally, he was asked to explain the narrative function served by Odysseus' choice to venture past Scylla rather than Charybdis, and to discuss whether or not his choice to withhold the information from his crew was ethical.
I don't know, I didn't pass modern literature.
At this point, there arose from the Styx a winged creature, with wings as wide as an angel, made of a black lace. The frightened boy jumped into the Styx to save himself from the creature, and in the muddy waters he drowned. This new creature, still angered by the boy's apathy, took flight into the air, but was snagged on a fisherman's net, which was tied to an iron bar. Its black wings beat harder, faster, stronger than any wings had ever beaten. With one great pull, the creature tore the bar from the muddy bottom of the river. It flew far and wide. Farmers and plowmen in the vineyards of Spain claimed that the presence of el avión de libros meant that the wine would be sweet when vented. The French believed that the charred angel was an omen of fear, its present symbolizing trials and tribulations civilizations to come in the near future. The Italians were convinced that it was a creation of Leonardo da Vinci, and the Irish were too busy with their porter to notice it. The composer Modest Mussorgsky was taking his tea on his terrace on a warm June evening when he spotted the bird with the netted bar and immediately rushed inside to write Night on Bald Mountain. This creature grew a legendary reputation, and it became the goal of any young adventurer to meet with it, but rarely would it come to any one person. It became known that it would only come to people it saw reading. Thus, people took to reading like vultures to a carcass. One young British author took to this craze.
If we're adding too many words and make the description so long that they're pointless, people will spend more time outdoors reading and have a greater chance of interacting with the creature. I can then sell these books for profit, and I will become rich.
The young Charles Dickens wrote some of the longest, most dull works of literature, among them Great Expectations. This work was so pointless, so long-winded, so trivial, that it instantly became a classic. The people devoured this book as if it were worthy of reading and attempt to see the creature, but one girl did not. She never saw the creature. Why the historians recorded this detail, we may never know. At the beginning of the 20th century, a completely different young girl was born, and she was the daughter of a librarian and an avid reader.
No! No, Abby! It's Sean!
No, for them!
No,
No longer take them away!
Yeah! We will no longer keep pointing the finders! No, come on there! No, come on there!
Why not let me sit down? Where was I? Oh, yes. She was the daughter of a librarian and an adamant reader.
Okay.
One day, she was laying in the soft blue grass of her home and reading a book by the novelist Charlotte Bronte when a large black creature appeared out of the thin Jane Eyre. Look, I didn't write that joke, it was in the script. The creature alighted on the rock beside this girl, and they spoke.
Do not be afraid. I mean no harm.
Who are you?
I'm a guardian,
I don't need a guardian. My guardian is inside.
not of people. I guard something far more
Gold?
valuable. Knowledge.
Knowledge of what?
Knowledge of books. I have for centuries roamed the earth, alighting near readers like you, and testing their knowledge on the works of man. And so, I come to you and wish to see what you know.
But compared to you, I know so little. Shouldn't I be learning from you?
Nobody has ever listened to me before.
Well, why not?
They were all too afraid.
I'm not afraid.
The creature and the girl sat and discussed her book for hours. Every week, the girl and the creature would lay on the soft blue grass, and they would discuss whatever she was reading. As weeks turned to months, and months turned to years, the girl and the creature grew closer and closer, until one day the creature decided she should be given a gift. When the girl arrived at the rock, she found a dagger resting on the soft, green, elliptical grass. The creature landed beside her and tasked her with a great endeavor.
Take you this sword without this net.
The young girl did as the creature asked, and with one great slash freed the creature from its intention. As it flew into the dawning sun, it dissolved into a fine mist, and the girl began to cry. But as she lowered her head, she saw on the metal a phrase was inscribed. Take this, and you shall fulfill my request. So long as you quest to spread the knowledge of literature, you shall never die. No longer was she a lonely country girl. She was Barnett. Can this be true? Is Barnett really more than the mere teacher she seems? Are these questions people that are asking, or is Ian just over-romanticizing a simple concept? To all three, yes, and we we have proof. First of all, have you been watching this show? To think that Ian would be totally objective and completely honest is to be utterly foolish on the matter. And for the fact that Barnett is immortal, compare these two photos. Notice that there appears to be almost no signs of aging. No mortal human could achieve this. According to a scientist from Maybelline, New York.
We have tried absolutely everything. We tried micellar water. We tried anti-aging creams. We tried mud from the river Styx. Hell, we even tried voodoo, but none of it worked. And like 3 of our men have gone mad at our research. We just don't know how she does it. How do you do it? How do you do it? Tell us how you did it. How do you do it? 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 How did you do it? Tell us how you did it. Please.
And sleep, we are told, comes rarely to Barnett, with days commencing before the dawn's early light. How then could she be a mere mortal? Even the most energetic people must sleep or grow weary, but not her. Never her. It's terrifying. Now if, and truly I mean if, you remain unconvinced, we have tonight a guest, the only person represented by the immortal Jack.
No, do not say it!
If you didn't want me to say it, then why did you put it in the script?
For posterity.
Posterity.
Yes, 50 years from now when the show is running on Broadway, they're going to need to know who we're talking about. And so, if we just say Barnett, there are like thousands of Barnetts, so we got to say Jack.
No!
Okay. No one's gonna say Jack. No one is going to say insert first name anymore. Got it?
Got it.
Okay.
Anyways, we have tonight a guest, one of the only people that Mrs. Barnett considers a mentor. Please welcome to the stage, Mrs. Patsy Gadby.
So, Grandma, you've known Miss Barnett for a while now.
Yes. Several years ago, I was a language arts instructor at Astronaut High School. My classroom was one of the lower auditorium rooms, and across the hall was a new young teacher, Mrs. Barnett. When upper class students showed up that first day, I'm sure they expected to be in charge of that classroom. Wrong.
We're getting killed for this.
Mrs. Barnett was in charge, and it didn't take long for them to understand. In those days, new teachers were assigned extracurricular duties, and since she was young and female, Mrs. Barnett became the new varsity cheerleaders.
Go Eagles.
As we all know, cheerleaders are in a class of their own.
Amen.
So, another learning curve. The location of our classrooms was out of the traffic pattern, so we had opportunities for creative learning. Plus, Mr. Brown was right across the way. Birthday celebrations were special in our department, and the year Mrs. Barnett drew my name, I celebrated a milestone birthday.
21.
Yes. So to mark the occasion of she had the local funeral director send a hearse to my house to bring me to school. Of course, everyone knew but me, and there was a welcoming committee when I arrived there. Needless to say, we didn't accomplish much that night. In addition to being fellow teachers, we became very good friends. And one summer, Mrs. Barnett and 2 others came to Vermont for a visit. Yes, we saw all the historical sites, but we also had other adventures. In fact, people still talk about that summer when those crazy English teachers from Florida came to disrupt us. Knowing Miss Barnett is a wonderful adventure.
Oh, that's so nice, almost too nice. But anyways, so, you've known Mrs. Barnett for a while now, right?
Oh yeah, Jackie and I go way back.
Oh, how come she gets to say it?
Because she's an adult.
Okay, so Connor and I are 18.
Yeah.
But you're not adults.
Okay, we actually have a card prepared because I thought that you would say that.
The card.
Connor, read that.
Florida State State Statute 743.07:1, the disability of non-age is hereby removed for all persons in the state who are 18 years of age or older, and they shall enjoy and suffer the rights, privileges, and obligations of all persons 21 years of age or older, except as otherwise excluded by the state constitution immediately preceding the effective date of this section, and except as otherwise provided in the beverage law.
Fine, you're right. You are adults. So go ahead and say it.
We will, isn't that right, Jack? That's right, Jack. Jack. You do a Connor here.
You, see, Mrs. Jazz. Okay, look, she's sitting right there. I'm gonna call her Jazz. Jazz.
What's the matter? Are you not adult enough?
Yeah, I'm too young to die.
I think I'm gonna choose life once as well.
Anyway, as I was saying, Jackie and I go way back.
Okay, so then you'd be able to attest to the alleged immortality of Mrs. Barnett, right?
I don't know.
Well, Mrs. Gadigan, that's all the time we have. Thanks for coming out. Good night. Our next guest is a newcomer to Rice Hour. Please welcome the unicorn.
Sarah, what are you wearing?
I tried. She wouldn't put it
I
on.
was not going to put on my unicorn costume.
Okay, but then how are they gonna know who you are?
You just told me.
Okay, but they're old, they're very young, At
least wear the horn.
No, there's no way I'm putting on my
Please.
No way.
Do it for the 6.
6.
Sophistication point guaranteed.
Fine. You know what? For me. Yes. Goodness. So, you want to know about unicorns, huh?
Yes, go ahead and tell us a bit about yourself.
Won't mind if I do. You know, it's weird. The chapter on unicorns so far.
Oh, that might be the wrong book.
Oh no.
Oh!
Again, I grabbed the wrong one.
Come on, Emma.
They just look so similar.
Wondering. Okay, there we go.
One more. That's
There we go. According to legend, when Barnett fulfilled her task to beseech the long-departed winged creature for help, how could she be freed of her indenture? The creature reappeared to her and spake thus: if mortal again she wished to be, she must part with the Barnett and simply become Jack.
Ah!
Insert first name, Barnett.
Once more. So, she traveled to Europe under the guise of seeing the graves of famous writers, and by cover of night, visited the shop of a blacksmith on the river Styx. She tasked the great forager for a simple task: transform the bar of ancient iron into a plethora of tiny, unassuming figurines. She chose unicorns in reference to the highest scoring papers, which she termed unicorns. They were painted the brightest colors and made to seem like they were merely worthless plastic figurines, but we know better. Each unicorn is a part of the piece of metal which makes her more than mere mortal. The bar, which she makes her net. Once the unicorns are gone, she will be freed from her indenture, and will once again be mortal.
Very well then, so how does one get said unicorn?
I think I should take this one.
No, actually, I think I will. So, I couldn't help but notice, it should be easy, right? Write a 6? Well, I've written a 6. Do you see any unicorns? No, didn't think so. Actually, I wrote my 6 2 days before they were shipped from the river Styx. And rewrites aren't even allowed anymore either, so I guess that's out the window. And I couldn't help but notice, since we wrote the script, the only people who were getting unicorns were short people. I think there's a little bit of discrimination going
I
on.
think that's taking it a little bit too far,
I'm a
Sarah.
comedian. Didn't you write a 6?
Yes.
Do you have a unicorn?
No, not really.
Connor?
Same here.
There's a lot of discrimination going on here. Oh my goodness. Is it really too much to ask? Just one. One itty-bitty unicorn I can keep in my pocket and feed crackers during lunch. Just one. They're so darn cute. All I need is one. Is it too much to ask? Just, what do you want? An essay? I can do an essay for you. Here's my paper. I can do an essay for you. Just see? You want a 6? You want a 6 like this one right here, please? That's what I just love.
how are we on time?
Yeah, that's time, guys.
Barnett, can you say the thing?
Yeah, you know, like at the end of the time, right? When time's up.
Say it, say it. Come on. We're gonna wait until you say it.
Gentle dame.
Barnett was my favorite teacher. Though I know you question why. Barnett, there's been no one like her. A tyrant, but still a joy. Sometimes there are days we follow, then there are days we lose her. Always
My favorite teacher. She could read anything I wrote. Barnett, so full of knowledge.
Wonderful. Oh yes. How wonderful you feel when the great that you've wished for becomes real. sorry that we misled you for 6 months, Mrs. Barnett.
And I kept all those quotes for a year and a half.
There's a reason why we kept a notebook.
Are you going close for some pictures?
Yeah. Oh. Yep, you and Capola got the big gift this year. Oh, we know. This is all Connor's fault. Just for when he started him. But if you ever heard us in your class talking about Tavern Trap or Tavern or anything like that, we were literally saying we're putting this on the show.
Yes.
Yeah, or if you ever heard the term rope, it was
this.
Yeah. 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 Yep. Yes.
Yes, yes. Our whole summer.
So are you going to show this to your other classes?
Yes, we got
Oh,
a
yeah,
thing
so
for it.
the thing about the first half